Hello, healthy friends. This is Terry here with your full moon in Gemini report for December 19th, and this will be opposite the sun in Sagittarius at 27 degrees, which means Sagittarius sun is in the Galactic Center. This is the full moon to really find your center, which just goes along so well with the 9-star key astrology. 9-star key astrology is that Chinese astrology, and we are in the 5 fertile soil center star for the whole month of December, and this is just preparing us for what is to come in 2022 when we enter that 5 center star for the whole year of 2022. And it is time to find your center. I feel like the Western astrology, the Eastern astrology, and even the Ayurvedic astrology is saying, come to the center, find your center. And in the 9-star key, we will all be going into our own star. We will all be going home again. And sometime this December, I will be posting my 9-star key reports like I do every year, which will start for the Chinese New Year's in 2022. It's really fun to learn about your 9-star key. And this year, I'm going to do a generalized report here on the Bend Health Guide YouTube page, but the individual stars, I'm going to start moving some of my astrology over to my Gemini Healing Arts YouTube page. And in 2021, I started doing a new moon and a full moon astrology report for the Bend Health Guide page, just to get the ball rolling on our YouTube and just to show the community how easy it can be to just get yourself out there. It doesn't have to be so scary to get yourself out there on YouTube. But I really want this Bend Health Guide page to be more about the community and more about the people that we are featuring in the Bend Health Guide. I don't want it to be all about me. And yet I have a lot to teach about Reiki and massage and astrology and space clearing, and so I've decided to start a new channel that is just devoted to my healing arts, Gemini Healing Arts page, and I'll put the link down below, so go ahead and start following and subscribing to that channel to get more of my astrology reports. I'm going to move them over there for 2022 starting in January 2022. And if you haven't already, I hope you will subscribe to this Bend Health Guide channel, because we have already started doing our spring features for the Spring Bend Health Guide, and we have some amazing healers and some amazing things to share going into the next few months. We always do the opposite season, so in the middle of winter, on the darkest, coldest days, we are celebrating spring and starting our spring features, and that magazine will be out in May, but we're also going to do some YouTube videos here at the Bend Health Guide, so be sure you stay and subscribe here, as well as joining me over on Gemini for astrology. Now, getting into this full moon report, we've got a lot of change. Of course, we're in that eclipse portal, and I'm filming this on Monday, December 6th, just after that powerful Sagittarius total solar eclipse. And that was a new moon, but the energy felt more like a full moon, if you ask me. I was teaching a Reiki master's class, Reiki level 3 with the master symbol, and we were just going through eclipse portals, time portals, energy portals, opening the Reiki gates. There was just so much energy on that day of the eclipse. So I hope that you are also enjoying that energy. It was a much more uplifting eclipse energy, I found, and I love Sagittarius. Sagittarius gives us faith and hope and optimism, and it was just a really good energy that we need as we close out this 2021 year and look for some rebirth and new hope for 2022. And I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you're doing well. And the song that keeps coming to me in this month is the John Lennon song, Let It Be. Man, there's just a lot going on, and a lot of people are going through a lot, and just letting it be is the way to be this month. And I'm wondering if you are also feeling a huge shift in your life, and if you are, tell me about it in the comments. I want to know, because everyone I know seems to be in a massive shift as we go into 2022, and that is exactly what the astrology says you should be doing. So if you're feeling like you're going through a turmoil, change, or a shift, that's just normal, and you're right on target for where you need to be. And this December, we have Venus conjunct Pluto for 2 dates. They will come to an exact conjunction on December 11th and December 25th on Christmas Day. But we will really be feeling Venus and Pluto coming together all month. They're just so close together. They're in Capricorn. And the moon will also be kissing Venus once again on December 6th. That's Monday, December 6th. That's tonight for me. And then the moon is coming close to Saturn on December 7th. And the moon will be kissing up to Jupiter on December 8th. And you can see all of these planets in such glory right now in the western night sky. I highly recommend looking just after sunset to the west and just seeing this moon alignment with Venus and Saturn and Jupiter, and even Mercury is joining in the party. Mercury doesn't shine quite as bright as Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus, but you can see, especially if you have a telescope, you can see Mercury in there too. And anyways, going back to the Venus and Pluto conjunction, then Pluto joins in, and this will dramatically increase your need for love and affection and connection with others. And so many of us have been more alone in these 2 years, especially if you are single, especially if you don't have a family close by. You may have felt really lonely going into this Christmas holiday season. And I totally get that. I've been there. I know that feeling. And now this Venus-Pluto conjunction is making you want to reach out to friends, to reach out to family, to reach out to loved ones, and just reconnect. And if you are single or lonely, you will be able to use this energy to attract new friends, new people into your life, and perhaps even finding a new love. This is a really good time to put your energy out there for attracting new love. And this Venus-Pluto conjunction is just a magnetic force energy to really attract to you whatever it is you desire at this time. But be mindful about what you are trying to call in and what you are attracting right now, because this energy is so powerful. You want to make sure that whatever you are trying to manifest is for your highest healing good. And this is definitely a be careful what you wish for aspect. And you have such an attraction to magnetize things that you have wanted, maybe like a new job or a new home or whatever you've been trying to manifest. This combination of Venus and Pluto coming together in Capricorn is pure alchemy. And you can turn lead into gold in these 2 days, December 11th and Christmas Day. So really time to ask Santa for everything you want. You really will get it this year, especially if you've been good. And Pluto, of course, rules Scorpio. And if you know Scorpios, we can see some Scorpio traits in this conjunction. Even though it's in Capricorn, Pluto is bringing in that taste of Scorpio in love and relationships this month. So you may have some obsession or just really falling in love with someone and having possessiveness and jealousy. And it can also arouse extra strong passion for someone. It might not be the best relationship, but you just have this overwhelming passion to move forward, and you may have supernatural sexual encounters because that's Pluto. And it's just like playing with fire with this intensity. Just be careful not to get burned, and be careful not to hurt anyone else this month. North node of the moon access in Gemini all year. And I know for you Geminis, this has been rocking their world. I have so many Gemini friends that are just going through huge soul shifts. And oh, sweet Gemini, this total solar eclipse that we just had in Sagittarius was the last big aspect for that Gemini, Sagittarius, north node of the moon axis, and your homework is done. When I think of my north node return, I always say it's kind of like being in the military. Like suddenly you're stationed. It's not as much free will as it is a soul mission. And it's like life just takes you somewhere and drops you down and puts you in a situation, and you have to complete these obstacles, and you have to finish your mission until your axis is over. And Gemini, your assignment has been completed now on this Gemini full moon. Congratulations, you've completed your assignment and you are free. As next year in 2022, we will move into that Taurus, Scorpio, north node of the moon axis. And now it's time for Scorpio and Taurus to have their soul mission assignments begin. So get ready, get lots of sleep, you guys, Taurus and Scorpio, especially Taurus and Scorpio north nodes. And if you don't know where your north node is, I highly recommend a north node reading. I think the north node is probably the most important part of an astrological chart, honestly, but that could just be because I've completed my north node assignment. And so, my dear Gemini friends, your year of heavy lifting is almost complete, and now you are rewarded with the most beautiful, optimistic, brightly shining full moon. And I am sure you will be sighing relief as it feels like a giant elephant has left your chest. And so you can finally breathe free, Gemini. And I just know so many Geminis who've been having a really hard time in 2022 with health problems, with work, with relationships. I mean, the trifecta of love, money, and health problems for Gemini. And this full moon will be shining like your lucky star, Gemini. And it's time for you to make a wish and to finally be able to manifest all that you desire, and to really go back to what it is you want and reconsider your path forward. And wherever Gemini at 27 degrees falls in any of your astrology charts, that is where you will be sort of starting all over again and with a new path forward. And this full moon is like giving you kisses of just love and luck and blessings and abundance, and wishes really can come true now. And Geminis, they can just be so giving to others and always doing things for others and going in 100 different directions at once, doing all the things for an organization and communication. And this full moon, Gemini, it's time to focus on yourself, to take your energy inward, to figure out what it is that you want now, and not be just putting all your energy external out into work and relationships and friendships. And now it's time to nourish yourself and be the friend to yourself that you are to everyone else. And give yourself some self-care. So needed, Gemini. Get a massage, take a bath, Go to a yoga class, do some hot yoga, you know, just really get out in nature. Just take care of yourself. And then once you've done all of that self-care, take some time to reflect on where you were and what you wanted before all the chaos of 2021 began and just disrupted everything you wanted. And try to get back to your true soul's path and where you want to go with your goals and dreams for the future. And just get out there and manifest it for yourself. And we've all got Gemini somewhere in our charts. And that Gemini energy coming in so strong at the end of December can give us indecision, confusion, and just a whole whirlwind of thoughts, especially as we're going into the Galactic Center with Sagittarius. And so there can be a lot of emotions swirling and anxiety and feeling unrooted. I always think of Geminis as just having such a hard time making a decision and so easily distracted, you know. I always like to say squirrel. Like Geminis see a squirrel and they're like a dog off a leash. They're just going to go running in this direction and over there in that direction. And so we're all feeling that with this Gemini full moon. We're not sure where we should be going, and there's a lot of distraction, and especially with social media. And so this is again a good full moon to go inward and to get quiet and to find your center and do some meditating. And I just love the Sabian symbol for Gemini at 27 degrees. It is a gypsy emerging from the forest where her tribe is encamped and reaching out towards participation in a larger global consciousness existence. And nature has always offered man a conscious attempt to leave behind the earthbound existence and to emerge into the realm of nature and the wild drives of nature are reaching towards the situation where they are currently being tamed. And so this is like somebody who's lived in the wild who is now moving to a city and becoming established. And this is so ties in with that whole Saturn-Uranus square. And it also kind of reminds me of what we're seeing here in the Pacific Northwest. There's just a lot of homeless encampments of people coming out of the forest and coming into the city and still not figuring it out, and maybe camping around all the little different parks and things. And it's just become so prevalent in Washington, Oregon, and California in the last year. And it is a phase of repolarization and an integration of the wild and free life emerging with the rules, regulations, and order of a city, which is just so that Saturn-Uranus square, which we will see coming exact again on December 24th of this month. All year, Saturn and Uranus have been in the boxing ring, Saturn wanting order and following the rules, regulations, and Uranus wanting freedom, rebellion, do what I want. And so on Christmas Eve, the battle of authority meeting with this wild gypsy freedom coming in with this Gemini full moon emerging from the forest. But this whole year, we've had the north node of the moon in the sign of Gemini. And our world has felt the duality that comes from this twin zodiac sign. And there was just so much black and white, good and evil, us versus them, vaxxed or not vaxxed. It was really hard to meet in the middle in 2021 and have any kind of compromise, as everyone was so polarized on one side or another. And now the energy moving into 2022 is asking us to return to the center, to create a new world that is less divided and more in harmony. And this Gemini full moon really reminds me of the Iroquois creation story about Sky Woman. And this artwork is from Sarah of Undercover Dove. And she's on Etsy. If you're interested in this artwork, I'll post her link below. And long ago, there was once a sky world where the sky people lived. And a magnificent, tall tree provided light to the whole sky world. But one day, there was a young, pregnant sky woman who convinced her husband to dig around the roots of this powerful tree. And this action caused the tree to fall, leaving a massive hole in the sky that Sky Woman herself fell through, which sounds a lot like the Galactic Center that this report is also about. And as Sky Woman began her descent, falling down to the place we now know as Earth, this place was all water at the time. There was nothing but an ocean sea below her as she was falling. And it was Eagle who caught her and placed her gently on a turtle's back. And she was pregnant with twins and just about to give birth. But she had no ground to stand on. And the various creatures swam deep down undersea all the way down to the ground to find soil at the bottom of this watery abyss. And it was only Muskrat who was especially helpful for finding the moist soil deep in the undersea and bringing it back up and placing it on the turtle's back to create this new world. And just as Sky Woman started her birth pangs of labor, and she was giving birth to her first son, which took a very long time, and this was an arduous birth. And just as her first baby was crowning into the light, her second son, who grew tired of waiting to come out, he broke through her belly, tragically killing Sky Woman. And all of the pieces of her body formed more of the earth, and her body became corn, beans, squash, and fruit-bearing trees to provide nourishment for her twins. And she still to this day is our Earth Mother, who always provides sustenance for her children. And these two twin brothers, who are so perfectly symbolized by Gemini, these twin brothers were always at odds. They were so different, and they decided to just split up the world into separate areas because they could not get along. Even in the womb, they did not get along. And so the first son would rule day, and the second son would rule night. Just like yin and yang, They were the balancing duality between black and white. And the first sun went on to create so much goodness in our world, like healing herbal medicines and plants, juicy sweet fruits to eat, little kittens and puppies, gorgeous lakes with waterfalls, rainbows and unicorns, love, happiness, compassion, and all the things in life that give us joy. And the second sun went on to create the poisonous spiders, the vicious predators, the poison berries, and the dangerous rocky cliffs and caves, hatred, nightmares, suffering, and evil. And we still today have this duality between these two polar opposites that are divided, these two suns of creation, as we have good and evil on earth. But just like the yin and yang, where there is black, there is a tiny circle of white, and where there is white, there's that tiny circle of black. We all have within us this duality of good versus evil, joy versus despair, healing and pain. And we have really felt the battle between these two brothers in this polarization of duality in 2021, with this Gemini North Node of the Moon ruling our world for all of 2021. And this Gemini Full Moon really completes a cycle of duality as we begin to move into the Taurus-Scorpio axis. For 2022, we will be moving into a new world, a rebirth transformation cycle that hopefully will be an end to this duality that we have seen in this story. The other aspect coming in so strong on this full moon is Sun in 27 degrees of Sagittarius at that Galactic Center, Sextile Jupiter in Pisces at 28 degrees. And this will be greatly influencing the Gemini full moon. And the Galactic Center is always found at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. And this is our center. This is all about the center. And this is the center star region of our Milky Way. And the Mayans worshipped this celestial center as being the womb of the Great Mother, and that this energy birthed our galaxy into being, and it is considered a sacred portal of all of creation. And we will have this illuminated, this galactic center on December 19th for this Gemini full moon. And this point in the sky is also known as the Gate of God and the Golden Gate, and opposite of which is the Gate of Man and the Silver Gate at 26 degrees of Gemini, which is right conjunct this full moon. And I don't want to get in too over your head. You can go down a whole rabbit hole on Google about the Galactic Center and just read everything you can find. But basically, at the time of this full moon, this portal will be open for access to higher realms and higher versions of ourselves. And you can have incredible visions of the future, realizations of higher truths, and an embodiment of higher understanding. So you can see why this is such a powerful full moon to go within and do the meditation and the dream work and take the time to really honor the energy of this potent full moon. And this full moon will be all about connecting with our divine source energy at a profound level. And you get one chance on this full moon to connect with that divine goddess source energy. So really take that time to soak in the energy. If you can get away from the city lights where you live and just soak up this moonlight energy in a forest or out in nature. And this full moon also relates to Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, known as the 13th hidden sign of the zodiac. And I just love this story because we all know, of course, that there's 12 signs in the zodiac. But did you know that there's also a 13th sign? And as this sun passes through the Galactic Center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, it will exactly conjunct this esoteric constellation that lies hidden or removed from our knowledge. And some say its magic was simply too powerful for us to know about, and its power was then hidden from us in astrological texts. But this power truly is the elixir of life and the potential to create new worlds, which ties so well into the whole concept of rebirth that I was talking about in my last solar eclipse astrology report. If you didn't see that one, you'd have to go back and check it out, because this 13th constellation just ties in so well. And of course, the number 13 has always been feared in our patriarchal society, when in reality, 13 is an incredibly lucky number related to the goddess, and is a very sacred number. And this 13th sign is also symbolized by a serpent with a grail underneath the serpent's head, showing the serpent bearer catching the poison of the snake, which will then be turned into healing medicine. And the snake is also a sign of the divine goddess power. And this alignment can be just one more indication of that divine feminine energy that is rising to create a new world, a new order. And Ophiuchus is also known as Asclepius, but he was a great healer who could raise people from the dead. And he has this transformative resurrection power of this constellation, which is really causing this rebirth, this new order. And some say that pre-patriarchy, the serpent bearer was actually a she, not a he, which makes total sense to me when you track the history of the archetype of the serpent and its whole connection to the ancient mother goddess religions. Like if you go into Ireland, I mean, you could just go on and on with all the symbolism of the snake. And do you know where that 27 degrees lands in your astrology chart? Because that is the house that will be conjunct this incredibly esoteric hidden power on this full moon. And so you really want to pay attention to where this Galactic Center energy is showing up for you And I call this a unicorn energy. I'm wearing, I don't know if you can see, but I'm wearing my unicorn dress today because this energy that we will experience on this full moon is as rare as a unicorn or a dragon. It just doesn't come around that often, and we are blessed to be here on Earth in this moment, experiencing this incredible divine goddess 13th sign conjunct the great Galactic Center. And wherever your Galactic Center is in your chart at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, you will be experiencing a great awakening in the next 6 months. Mark my word. So if you want to know more about your own Galactic Center, I highly recommend an Astrology Chart reading. If you don't know where it is, you can hit the link down below. I will put a link to my website where you can order an astrology reading. Maybe I'll even do a Galactic Center special. But I also highly recommend reading the work of Melanie Reinhardt. If you want to know more about the Galactic Center, I've read everything she's written on this, and I think she has the most wisdom about the Galactic Center. And I can't go into all of it on this video, or it'll be 6 hours long, but I will say that we are entering this whole center energy in 2022, as I said, in Western astrology, in the 9-star key astrology, and Ayurvedic astrology, where they are all saying the same thing. We are coming to the center in the galactics and within ourselves. And as a nation, as a world, we all need to find our center. And this is a time to go inward and do the work, kind of take a life review, finding the meaning that has come before you and where you want to go next. And this is a powerful time to do an energy clearing, just to clear up any blocks of anything that might be limiting you from going forth in the world in the way you want to, and really clearing out any of your clutter. I highly recommend doing a space clearing before the end of the new year, or before the end of this year going into the new year. If you can even just smudge your house or open up all the windows, just clearing clutter and preparing for this new world. And I love this quote from Rudolf Steiner, which says, "The empty space is where we are the most receptive to grace. And like the black holes said to reside at the core of the galaxy, it generates the substance which will birth the new, individually and collectively." So get into that empty space this full moon if you can, through meditation, through a quiet walk in nature, and just empty your mind, clearing out anything that's not serving you, so that you can get into that empty space, to allow that grace to bring you to center, so that you can create that rebirth, that new world in 2022. And I also like this quote, that he who would create the new must endure the passing of the old in full tranquility. And this reminds me of my son, who is 14, and he was born in 2007, and all of the children born in 2007 have their Pluto conjunct this Galactic Center, because Pluto was passing through the Galactic Center at that time, and our world had a powerful shift in consciousness. If you remember 2007, there was a lot going on. It was a very intense time. And these children that were born in 2007, they are like the way makers for this new world. It will really land on their shoulders to create, as they are coming of age in this Renaissance time, in this rebirth. And Pluto is about transformation, and the Galactic Center is just this mind-blowingly powerful force, source energy. And these kids that are becoming teenagers now, they are watching the old paradigms crumbling, just as we all are, and they know that it is their mission to create something new in this coming era. And if you ask any teenager about this right now, I tell you, they know, they get it. So it's a really exciting time to be alive. And I think it's getting a little more optimistic as we go into 2022, not so scary. I think that we are going to see this whole new world opening up, and a really lucky aspect we have on this full moon is Sun sextile Jupiter. Woo, smoking hot, lucky, unicorn kind of lucky, unicorn rainbows. You know, this is the transit we've been waiting for all year to really give us that hope for the future. My girlfriend and I used to say it's like smoking hopium when all you can do is hope. You know, this is that hope. And tomorrow will be a better day when you have Jupiter sextile the Sun at the Galactic Center. The Galactic Center is so powerful, and then Jupiter's just going to expand that energy. And Jupiter, of course, tied to Sagittarius. So just depending on whether you believe in fate or free will, you will either get really lucky on this full moon, or your own positive thinking will attract good fortune. This is so auspicious. And this is a time to really focus on your story and what it is you're saying and how that's affecting what you're manifesting. And I was just teaching Reiki class, and one thing we were talking about is sometimes we do have these limiting self-belief stories that, you know, just have to work so hard and there's never enough money. And if you find yourself during this full moon having any limiting beliefs, I want you to do a little exercise for me. I want you to say cancel to anything that is holding you back or limiting you. And then reaffirm with 3 positive affirmations. So like, if that is your story, that I just work so hard and there's never enough money, you would say, cancel, that's not my story anymore. Money is coming to me easily and effortlessly, and I do work that I love with ease, and I receive so much abundance for it. And there is always more than enough money coming in to meet all of my desires. Something like that. You know, just play around with it, but really catch yourself in your tracks, because any limiting beliefs on this full moon are really going to hold you back from receiving all the grace and abundance that is there for you. So this is an ideal time to just really smash your goals, and you will have so much energy now with all this Galactic Center energy sextiling Jupiter, which is just full of adventure and travel, and you can manifest. And this is finally an auspicious time to start something new, to launch a business. I know I've been saying all year it's not a good time, but yes, now you can start that business. Now you can launch your program or publish your book or put your podcast out, and even going away for the Christmas holiday on a travel and adventure will be so fun with this sextile. It's super positive. Even in the time of a pandemic, it's still going to be an incredibly positive time because of this sextile. And you might receive some money or situation that just falls into your lap. You won't have to work hard for things. You won't have to go after it so much. You will just be in that right place at the right time, and things can just fall in your lap. Maybe you receive a huge return on your investment or a Christmas bonus. You know, this aspect is just telling you to just go for it, and there is enough money and you will receive. And so I cannot wait to feel all the effects. And the effects of this full moon will really linger on longer than just the one day. You know, we will really have this optimism lit in us like a candle to just shine brightly through the solstice and into 2022. This is some really positive energy, so just soak it up. And you can see why I'm saying get out there and look at this full moon and do a moon bath and really take in that good juicy energy. And then on the same day as this full moon in Gemini, we have Chiron stationing direct at 8 degrees, and he will be coming into his full wounded warrior healer power in Aries, and he is now square Mercury, and this can bring up a lot of inner things coming to light that need to be healed. And for so many of us still in our Chiron in Aries return, we might have some things coming up, and the best thing you can do with this energy is to just write about it. You know, just get it out on paper. What are you feeling? Anything coming to the surface? It may bring some pangs of sorrow or grief that feels like it could just swallow you whole. And just write about it and let it come up and then release it out. And know that now Chiron in Aries stationing direct, he's starting to move forward towards Taurus. Of course, we're still in this Chiron in Aries for a really long time. I think it's 2026 until Chiron goes to Taurus. When Chiron gets in Aries, he loves to hang out. And so Chiron is the centaur, half horse, half man, which is really interesting too, because the Galactic Center has a lot of centaur energy. A lot of the centaurs were born with strong Galactic Center aspects. So it just makes sense that Chiron would pick this day in the Galactic Center to move forward and go direct. And this can be a powerful time to also reevaluate those internal subconscious stories, just like we were just talking about. Any subconscious stories you have about your health, like saying, I'm so tired, I have no energy, or my feet hurt. Whatever limiting beliefs you have about your health, you can try that same exercise I was just telling you about. Cancel, and then reaffirm. So if you're saying, I'm so tired, I have no energy, well, that's pretty normal for this winter time of year. You can say, cancel, not my story. I am nurturing my need for more rest during this winter season. And it's natural to want to go more inward and have more quiet and just reserve my energy at this time. So I know as we go into this winter solstice and the light will just finally begin to return, it's a time to honor your need for more rest, more self-care, and more nourishing foods during this dormant season. And Chiron in Aries is here to teach you how to heal yourself. Healer, heal thyself. And if you want to know much more about that Chiron in Aries transit that we are in for so long, and now he's stationing direct, he's coming into his power, you can watch a video I did on the Chiron in Aries. I went down the deep rabbit hole about the Chiron in Aries, and I highly recommend watching that. And for me, I'm personally rejoicing that Chiron is stationing direct at 8 degrees because I have Chiron in Aries at 6 degrees. And now he's moving forward, and I won't have to deal with Chiron and Aries for what, another 50 years, maybe when I'm 100. Earlier that the 9-star key, we are in that 5 fertile soil star, which is just giving us a sneak peek of the energy we will be feeling for all of 2022. And this is a wonderful time to plant your seeds of intention in the most fertile soil. This is a fabulous time for starting a new business, for starting a new relationship. Anything you plant in this fertile 5 center star, really for all of 2022, but beginning this year is a good time. I mean, right this month in December, it's a good time to start planting those seeds of intention for what it is you want to manifest as we rebirth the world next year. And anything planted now will grow deep roots and really be long lasting, like an acorn planting an oak tree. This is big, juicy, springtime, fertile energy in the middle of winter, and it has so much creative, juicy energy. And then my I Ching that I read is the 24, which is the return to center. You can't make this stuff up. Even the I Ching is saying return to center. And this I Ching is all about a turning point that recharges you and eventually will bring success. And this hexagram is also associated with the turning of darkness back towards the light and the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, and the day when the darkness begins to decrease, and the hours when the light returns and the daylight starts to increase now. So this is the cusp of a powerful turnaround, a time for letting go of the old and making way for the new, and a time of new beginnings. This is a crossroads. So take time now to choose your next path wisely and carefully. And listen to your teachers now. This can be a time to seek guidance from those who know more, and get a reading or go to a temple to meditate. And it all begins with rest. And don't move too fast or force anything, as a new momentum is just beginning. And this turnaround will require that your energy be recharged by adequate rest, so that your life force is not depleted. And the principle of hibernation, of allowing the energy to renew itself and be strengthened by rest, applies to all situations such as recuperating from illness, the slow return of trust after a period of estrangement, or the rebirth of a new creative pursuit. It is time now to really listen to your heart for guidance about the next steps forward, because only your heart knows where to go and what to do next. Thank you, friends, for watching. Please subscribe, like, give me a comment. I'd love to hear what you're up to. And then go follow me at my new Gemini Healing Arts. There's really not much going on over there, but I'm going to start posting all my astrology at Gemini Healing Arts. And I'm working on some really juicy massage, prenatal massage, Reiki, energy clearing, space clearing. I have so many ideas I want for that page, and you can see why I want to put them all over there, so I'm not hogging up this community Bend to Health Guide page with all my ideas. So I hope to see you over there, and have a beautiful Gemini full moon. May all your wishes come true. Thank you.